Good day. It's October the 8th, 2024. I just want to, I know you're a little tired of listening to me, but I just wanted to talk about this whole where did this giveaway stuff come from in the collective agreement? And I can remember going back to 2007, I believe it was, where Canada Post, they used to have pots of money. And it was money holding our pension. There was a pot holding our sick leave. There was a pot holding our separation or longevity pay, whatever it was. All these pots of money. And they kept using excuses to arbitrators that, well, we're not taking anything away technically. We're giving them their money, right? Same with and there was a sick leave pot. So as I use as an example, okay, 2007, it was around there, I give or take a couple of months. They had given us our longevity pay. Now, I wasn't particularly interested in it because I wanted to plug in a few more years before I took it. Other people were, wow, what a bonus. Oh, I love it. I've been here 8 years and now I got all this money. They got all excited about it. It wasn't that much. And I believe it was 1 week's pay for every year of service. And you have to bear in mind, when things look bad for Cup W members, the union always negotiated benefits. So Canada Post can't say, well, it's a benefit that's going to kill us today. No, it's going to kill you later on, maybe. I don't know. You can't argue that. So that's what, when you look on the seniority list, you'll see different areas where there was more people in, let's say, 1995, and that was the years that we negotiated stuff that increased jobs. So that's where you see there's different streaks of seniority across there. So anyhow, 2007, we took that. Most people did okay with it. I mean, it was like okay. I'm not saying you retired with a big wad of money. You didn't. They just gave you your money they were holding. So anyhow, along it went a little further, and there was sick time. Now, this sick time wasn't till around 2009, 2010, somewhere maybe 2011, somewhere in there. I had about 2 weeks, maybe 1 week sick time left. My wife had $90,000 worth, and they bought people out. Well, my wife had transferred, after all these years, we were transferring to a place where we were retiring. She transferred as part time. They paid her out as a part time. So part time got $100. Full timers got 200. So I got 200 for 1 week. She got 100 for $90,000. So that was another thing that we did. That was forced on us by Brian Mulroney and those bunch of freaks. So anyhow, they did that. Again, the argument is we're separating the money. Like we're holding all this sick money. It's like we're not in the business of being financiers or anything. So we'll just pay it out and go on this 15-day thing that they have all these companies in Canada do it now, where you have flex leave and all that crap. And oh yeah, this was the deal. You sign this collective agreement, then you can take time off whenever you want. Whenever you want. The boss came and told everybody. I said, don't believe these guys. That's a lie. They won't give it to you now when you want it. Why would they give it to you when it was when they got the screws on you now? Because you can't just say, well, I'm going to take the leave anyways. You can't do it anymore. So what happened was people said, wow, that's a great idea. And it was not to be critical, but it was the newer people that didn't understand the union, didn't understand how we got where we're going. Maybe it was the union's fault of that. Maybe it was, I don't know, somebody's fault, but not the casual or the temps. So everybody that was there, that was on full-time staff, part-time or full-time, got money, right? But when the vote came, there was people that didn't understand it that voted, yes, it's money. So we didn't work on the education there, I guess. I always made sure everybody around me was educated in the collective agreement because that made my job easier. So they said yes. And one of the things was, that's around that time, they were hiring from Great Life or Good Life or whatever the hell it was. And they were hiring people that were, let's say, obedient. So when things come up, the boss would say, oh, yeah, that's great. And they said, well, no, I'm going to lose it. No, don't worry. You didn't have it where you worked before. Everything was, you didn't have it where you worked before. Don't worry about it. So eventually, the job is starting to look like where they worked before. That's the problem with it. So then they moved on to pensions, and moving the pension from a defined pension into a self-directed, or I think whatever you call it, a self-deposit or something, moving it to there was again the argument, well, we got this big pot of money, we got a whole bunch of financial people that are Canada Post employees, why don't we just shuffle the whole thing over to the Royal Bank or whoever was looking after it? So our money for the defined pension is at a bank now, an investment house, Canadian banks, and the defined, I don't know where the hell it is. The other one, I mean, sorry, the one that's undefined. So you put it in it or you don't put it in it. Who knows what the rules are on that one. So anyhow, that's where they started cutting away, and what they're doing is gradually cutting the strings. So they're getting people in and that don't understand, and they think, I don't know what the problem is with the union and the bad attitudes. They bring in donuts and pizza and they give us overtime and blah blah blah. I'm not going to frighten you, but I think what's happening is they know most casuals. Sometimes they don't figure they have a right to vote, or they don't want to vote, or it's too much. There's nothing in it for them. That's the ones they want to vote. They want people to vote yes because they say, well, it's better than the place that worked, so I'm going to vote yes. Here's the problem with that. Casual workforce, which it's becoming from what I see on the CUPW unofficial site, the casual workforce is disposable. So they could, with a regular employee, there's a big process to try and get rid of somebody. If they cut my job, and there's no other jobs for me, I can sit there and do nothing and they have to pay me. That's it. Casuals, they can lay you off, get rid of you, do whatever they want. So casuals, in fact, have more of a vested interest in a collective agreement being settled properly by the union. But instead they think, well, it's better than the place I was in. What's the matter with these people? I can get the walk done in 6 hours when someone else does it in 8. What's the matter with that? Next thing you know, they give you another hour on your walk, and I can do this in 7 hours, and it just goes on and on. Even they found a way of getting rid of lunches and unbelievable. The simple way it was, like 10 years ago. It was pretty simple. Gone to this. So this is, they've driven it into hell pretty quick. And what they've done is they've used people. They've lied to them. They tell them half-truths, new people, and they work on them. They even got the people from these fitness things, like I said, Good Life. They said, those people, they're physically fit, not like you guys. You guys have hurt yourself all the time, which is not true. So what happens is they hire these people, and I think at one time when I had retired, almost all of them were on WCB because they injured themselves showing off to the boss how they could jump upstairs and jump over balconies and all this sort of crap. So they ended up on the injured list. So that backfired on Canada Post. I don't know where they're at with that now. They don't understand. A person is a person. Just because you're physically fit, it's a totally different job. So anyhow, I just thought to point that out. This is where this whole cutback thing started. And it started first, I'll do it again, with our longevity pay. Then they went into our sick time. What else did they go after? A whole bunch of, or pension. They didn't go after mine. But I voted no to their offers, these bad offers over the years, because the responsibility of a carrier or a clerk, or just a general postal worker right now, is to not only protect their job, but protect the jobs of people coming in. And that's where I think some of the regular employees failed. Because if everybody is getting the same as what you have, then you're safe. Personally, it sounds a little selfish, but that's the way it is sometimes. So there's no reason to get rid of you or them, because you're all getting the same thing. But when they move them into two-tier systems and all this sort of crap, what happens is they pit one against another, because they say, okay, this guy's getting so much an hour and all these benefits because they're grandfathered in, like the defined pension, and those guys don't get anything. Who do you think you are? And that starts the fighting. So, I don't mind saying it all the time, but learn your collective agreement. Your collective agreement is so important. It is part of your job. It is understanding your job. and the Constitution, and instead of people bitching and complaining about their national officers and how they can, I mean, a national officer, I think it's about $10,000 more than a regular carrier. And that's working 6 days a week. That's, I don't know how many hours in a day I see them at a seminar. It's just huge. Free labor, but they do it for you because that's in their heart to say, I want to help people. They're not doing it for money. There's no money in it. They could make more as a carrier or a clerk on overtime. So that's not, it's not about being lazy. It's not about anything. They have a skill and negotiating and understanding everything. And they're there. Now, do you want someone else there that doesn't? Because you're driving them away. You're chasing these people away that want to help you in the workplace. I've heard this slagging union members that take time off of from their family to go to things to educate you. And instead of saying thank you very much, and I know when I'm in trouble I can come to you, instead, that guy, I don't know what he's like, overpaid, like the boss is paying him or something. I don't like those remarks. So you got to get your shit together, as they say, and full-time and casual, you've got to understand that the boss is making you irrelevant, but at the same time making the new people, all of them, disposable. So when they wanted to shut the post office down, over the years have had some pretty bright ideas. They always look and say, wow, look how many full-timers we have to buy out. Like buy out to get them out of the post office and bring in some minimum wage labor. Now they're looking, saying it's just a matter of time before all these people drop off and we have a workforce full of people. We can work them 4 hours here, 2 hours there, cheap labor, no benefits, blah, blah, blah. And sit and think about the plan you're in the middle of. It's not as they call it, hyperbole or anything else like that. It's a fact. I've been here. I've worked with, when I started, I was a part-timer, not a casual. I was a part-timer. Worked part-time, worked full-time. Worked with rural routers with my union stuff. Rural routers were victims, let me tell you. I've worked with casuals, victims. They were as tough as any, casuals were as tough and knowledgeable with a collective agreement as any clerk was, or carrier, or anybody. So something went wrong in there. But I've done every job at the post office to do with labor, except the clerk's job. I understand their job, fully understand their job. And it's easier because they fully understand their job and their collective agreement. And you're never getting someone going, oh yeah, is that true? You know, whatever. So you've got to be very, like I understand all this stuff. So I understand where the brain is coming from with people that have been around, how they felt like they're picked on. I mean, I was picked on as a part-time MSC, and until I told them 2 words, and one started with an F, that we took over the local. We were all really knowledgeable in the collective agreement. About half took the local. The other half were sympathetic carriers that have been around for years that knew the collective agreement. So the union was basically, it wasn't stacked, but we brought common sense to the meeting to discuss, the election and everything else, and we ended up being in. So it's not easy. It's not easy to be a union rep because you get crapped on. Half the people like you, half of them hate you. Yet when you got a problem, you go to your shop steward because you're not going to go to the boss. And that's the other thing. All this stuff, oh, look what's going on, look what's going on. Think about it. The union only grieves violations that the corporation has by cheating you out of money. They file a grievance for you. Cheating you out of leave, file a grievance for you. There's nothing the union does. The union is there to counteract that. So the Canada Post acts and we have to react. It's not the other way around. We don't suggest something. Yeah, why don't you cheat them all out of their holidays? Does that make any sense to you? All the grievances are because of something management does. You grieve management. Look at the grievance. You grieve management. Management grieves the collective agreement. They don't grieve the union. They agree. Management can grieve violations of the collective agreement, like generally speaking. They have done it many times. So anyhow, I just thought I'd bring that up. It's very tough to be in the situation that casuals are in now, but you are a union member, and as long as you're a member in good standing and pay your dues, then you have a right to vote, yes or no, on the strike, and yes or no on the collective agreement. So don't give up that right. That's a pretty precious right. Some places that have casuals, like outside of the post office, they don't get the pay that casuals get at Canada Post. They don't get the right to vote. They're not union members. They're just kind of like come and go, boo boo. And they put a limit on how many can come in the building. So you're pretty lucky. Even if you don't feel like it, but that's not the union's fault. The union doesn't pay you or hire you. It's the corporation. Anyhow, I hate to drag on with this, but have a great day. And I didn't enjoy working at Canada Post, as I can say. I didn't enjoy working at Canada Post. But what I did enjoy is all the wonderful people I worked with. And probably 75% of the wonderful people were good union people that didn't bitch about anything. Everything wasn't doom and gloom. They were just happy-go-lucky, easygoing people that represented the members. And then there's the members that go, oh yeah, well, you know, all this nonsense. What's the union doing for me? The union is that collective agreement. You're all put together in a big group and you vote. And the other thing you have to remember is if 3 people show up at a meeting, a strike vote, and they vote to accept the agreement or go on strike, it's the majority at the meeting. It's not the majority of all the carriers or all the clerks. So you have a responsibility to get out there and protect the vote, whichever way you want it to go. So anyhow, sorry about rambling on, and I will keep track of what's going on with that. And and one more thing. Oh, she's sleeping. I was going to introduce everybody to my little dog, and that's her right there, 10 pounds, fighting spirit. She'll rip your leg off and stuff it in your mailbag for you. Not really, she's afraid of her own shadow. Anyhow, have a great day, and keep up your spirits, because remember always, it's not the union. The union only represents you when with the whole grievance thing is because something management did. But management wasn't, look what the union did. The union didn't do that. They try and manipulate you. So don't end up in this Trump world where the up is down and down is up and blue is red. Stay focused and think with your heart, and have a wonderful day.